So what got me into Resident Evil is I was about 14, 15 in high school. I had a best friend who loved Resident Evil. He played all the way through, up to 5. So we agreed that he would come over to mine after school and we would co-op Resident Evil 5. That's my first memory.
Was when I was a wee lad watching my dad play the games, sitting there watching him play through Resident Evil 0, which was a smaller title of the series, him fighting like monkeys, zombie monkeys running around like a train, fighting zombies. It was just the coolest thing when I was like 6 years old. And I remember him sticking me on, I think it was Resident Evil 0 when I was a little bit older, and just going, go nuts, and being too scared to going into any room unless he was there. But what really was the main thrust for me when I hit the right age was Resident Evil 5, was the first proper one I played on my own all the way through. It's probably not very scary in comparison to the other ones, but that was the one that really got me into the series as a whole.
So, a friend of mine at the time, he used to always talk about Resident Evil, the game, and I hadn't played it because I used to play Mega Drive. I didn't have a PlayStation at the time, and he would always talk about Resident Evil. You were in this big mansion and you had to escape, and there was zombies and all this, and I was like, right, okay, it sounds really interesting. And I remember going to see my sister. We were going out for the evening, and her boyfriend at the time had a PlayStation 1, and on top of the PlayStation was an unopened box of Resident Evil 2. So I was like, oh God, we've got time to have a quick go on this. So I played it. 2 hours later, I'm like, right, I've got to keep playing, but we ended up going out.
My favourite character would have to be Leon Kennedy. After playing 5, Resident Evil 4 got remade and was put out onto like the PS3 and PS4. So I picked it up, thought I'd start going back and seeing what the hype is around Resident Evil. And just, yeah, Leon Kennedy, the fact that he's the rookie, he becomes this like elite soldier and just roundhouse kicks everyone he sees.
Chris Redfield, hands down, our muscle-bound boy. I could watch that man punch anything. I absolutely adore him. Been there since the beginning, all the way through the series. I love Albert Wesker's hatred of the man and obsession. It's incredible.
Favourite character is Leon Kennedy, and I think I just feel a bit sorry for him really, because he's starting a new job. He's a young man. He's going to work at Raccoon City, and he gets to his work on his first day, and you know he arrives in a bit of a mess really, and all hell breaks loose. So I do feel a bit sorry for him, but he managed to get through it all, so that's good.
My favourite Resident Evil has to be Resident Evil 2, the remake specifically. A modern take on classic horror.
My favourite Resident Evil was probably Resident Evil Village. It just strikes everything that the series is. It's got some truly horrifying moments where you're just too scared to carry on. It's got moments where you're howling with laughter because Chris Redfield's punching a dude in the face. It's just... and the villains are bombastic and terrifying at the same time. It's just got everything that the series has had all the way through.
Favourite has to be Resident Evil 2, the original. Although I did play the remake, and that was excellent. That's definitely my favourite. It was just revolutionary at the time. The gameplay was anything, you know, nothing like you'd seen before. It was really well designed. The gameplay was great. Graphically, for the time, it looked amazing. So Resident Evil 2, the original, is definitely my favourite.
My favourite gaming moment for Resident Evil has to be in 5. Me and my friend played it all the way through to the end, and it just ramps up, and you're fighting Wesker and shooting rocket launchers and having a weird ninja fight to the very end where you're fighting in a volcano and you have to repeatedly punch a boulder to collapse a volcano on the bad guy. That's my favourite gaming moment.
Probably my favourite moment in Resident Evil as a series is in Resident Evil Village with House Benevento. I'm not going to pretend I know how to pronounce it. It was probably the scariest thing I've ever experienced in gaming. I've had to like I had to put the controller down multiple times. I had to have little breaks. I had to ring my mate who's also into Resident Evil and have him console me because it just freaked me out so much. Just that little, probably half an hour segment of this massive game. It was just so freaky.
So, favourite gaming moment is the end of Resident Evil 2. You can see the original. You can see there's a bit of a pattern emerging here. And I just remember being really tense playing it. There's a lot of like resource management, and then you fight that big G virus monster, and and then I remember sort of hitting. You're in this lab, and you're having to go across the room to another side while he's chasing you. And I remember getting the final shot and sort of being relieved. And then I remember that after that there was like a sequence. A video sequence, which was just the end of the game, and you jump on a train and it ends up blowing up and you escape, and it was like a movie at the time, and that was like a real wow that a video game could do something that impressive.
Cameron Hancock happened to be walking past. So
Complete laughter and random.
yeah, let's do this.
I hope my answers aren't too boring. When I was a wee Ferrero, I used to...
Was
Alan
supposed to
maybe
be.
thought it was a CIA interview. It's a bit more pressure when it's like, oh, yeah, that's right, I need to like...
Yeah, you gotta be polite as well. I love it.
In this game, going, oh, can we just play a little bit longer? So yeah, that's all.
Okay. Great
Can't
start.
Gotta get out.
Can't help it.
Right, shall we try the first question?
Yeah.
Got my tea from Grandma.
When you're ready.
When we had electricity and we finally got the...
So what is your favourite game?
This is the one I now stumped on.
Use that in the bloopers bit. No, you're in front of the camera.
So it's that kind of thing.
Sorry, last time I just grabbed that.
We need to get like a red light outside.
Yeah.
You know, do not enter. Right.
Oh, we just went, when I was a wee lad.
When I was a young warthog.
God, the bloopers are going to be like twice as long.
Resident Evil.
Cool.
I like that his answer's different.
Yeah, it's a very different
Yeah.
answer.
That was my main.
I'll try not to sort of stumble more words next time. But yeah.
No, sound. Yeah, it's just interesting because it's like it's a completely different generation.
Yeah,
Like we
definitely,
got
yeah.
into it at 5. Like we were at the right age for 5. Like,
5.
Yeah.
Oh right, as in the game, not
Yeah.
you were 5 when you
No,
started playing.
well,
Christ.
I was talking.
When we're out there, we're just chatting. And it's a bit more natural. It's a bit more pressure when it's like, oh, yeah, that's right, I need to like...
Yeah, you gotta be polite as well. You can't be like, ah.
Oh, yeah, it's just better when he's fucking it's just fucking favourite bit Super Mario Hunter by Chris Redfield. That's my favourite bit, yeah.
Sorry, were you still recording?
Yeah, I'll just record until we're done.
Oh, sorry.
And then we'll just use B-roll and genuinely had to keep taking breaks because it was so scary. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to have a brew. Go make a cup of tea and like chill out for 10 minutes. And then like come back to it. I just need to double check the name of that bit of the...
When you're being chased by the giant fetus, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The most horrifying thing I've ever experienced in gaming. Is it Benefit?
Yeah, we're recording now.
Yeah.
That's going to be remixed into a dubstep song. Oh, there's the intro. Some of my favourites, so we can throw out.
Oh, thank you. Cameron Hancock happened to be walking past. So,
Complete laughter and random.
yeah. Let's do this.
I hope my answers aren't too boring. Oh, well, when I was a wee Ferrero, I used to...
Was forced to
Maybe
be.
thought it was a CIA interview. It's a bit more pressure when it's like, oh, that's right, I need to like...
Yeah, you gotta be polite as well. I love it.
in this game going, oh, can we just play a little bit longer? So yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Can't
Great
help
start.
it.
Gotta get out.
Can't help it.
Right, shall we try the first question?
Yeah.
Go back to see from
When you're ready.
When we had electricity and we finally got the
So, what is your favourite game online?
This is the one I never stumped on.
Lovely.
use that in the bloopers bit. No, you're in front of the camera.
So it's that kind of thing.
Sorry, last time I was thinking of that.
we need to get like a red light outside.
Yeah.
You know, do not enter. Right.
Oh, we just went, when I was a wee lad.
When I was a young warthog.
God, the bloopers are going to be like twice as long.
Resident Evil.
Cool.
I like that his answer's different.
Yeah, it's a very different
Yeah.
answer.
That was my main.
I'll try not to sort of stumble more words next time. But yeah.
No, sound. Yeah, it's just interesting because it's like it's a completely different generation.
Yeah,
Like we
definitely,
got
yeah.
into it at 5. Like we were at the right age for 5. Like,
5.
Yeah.
Oh right, as in the game, not
Yeah.
you were 5 when you
No,
started
no.
playing.
Well,
Christ.
I was talking.
When we're out there, we're just chatting, and it's a bit more natural. It's a bit more pressure when it's like, oh, that's right, I need to like.
Yeah, you gotta be polite as well. You can't be like, ah.
Oh, yeah, it's just better way. It's just fucking favourite bit of Super Mario Hunchback, Chris Redfield. That's my favourite bit. Yeah.
Sorry, were you still recording?
Yeah, I've recorded. I'll just record until we're done.
Oh, sorry.
And then we'll just use B-roll and genuinely had to keep taking breaks because it was so scary. I'm like, I'm gonna have to have a brew, go make a cup of tea and like chill out for 10 minutes, and then like come back to it. I just need to double check the name of that bit of the.
When you're being chased by the giant fetus, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. The most horrifying thing I've ever experienced in gaming. Is it Benefit?
Yeah, we're recording now.
Yeah.
That's going to be remixed into a dubstep song. Oh, there's the intro. Some of my favourites, so we can throw them in at you at the end.
Oh, thank you.